Trust me, you're not the only one like this. Ever since I was younger, I used to always ask myself, who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? What do I want to achieve whilst I'm still here? And it's a question that has been haunting me for a very long time, because to this day, I'm not really certain, but I was able to get much more direction than I used to have in the past. And it all came down to just doing one thing. One thing in particular truly helped me get to know who I am, who I want to be, and how I want to get there. But first things first, I need to tell you a story, because there was a crucial point in my life in which my perception on the entirety of my purpose changed significantly. So for a major part of my life, I spent a lot of time with my family. I'm the oldest cousin in my family, so I used to always hang around with the younger guys, right? The younger siblings, the younger cousins. Everybody is pretty much younger than me. I'm definitely not the biggest in size. Well, hey, I've been going to the gym for a little bit, but I'm certainly not the biggest. I'm like around 5'7". But the sport that I fell in love with had to have been basketball. I've been playing basketball for almost 3 years now, and it's a sport that I've been really addicted to. Perhaps not addicted, but I used to be hooked onto it. And I used to always teach my younger cousins the things that I'm into. Before even it was basketball, right? I remember as soon as I started skateboarding, they started skateboarding as well. As soon as I started to do this, they would often want to do a similar thing, right? This was just a dynamic that I've just observed, right? But right as I learned basketball, and I got them to like stop playing football, now they're playing basketball with me, I noticed that they were getting better fast. Like really fast, honestly. It was so cool to look at, right? Because I was kind of getting stuck, right? I was already playing my first few tournaments and I was doing kind of shit in all of them. But then they were actually doing really good, right? And I spent a lot of my time and a lot of my effort into trying to make them better. And that's when I started to observe the fact that I'm actually really good at teaching people things, just explaining. I'm good at expressing my mind. But how I discovered that is a completely different topic that we're gonna get into in a second, right? I know I'm kind of holding your attention for a little bit, but please follow with me. And around a year ago from now, I remember me and my cousins, right? We were on the basketball court. We were at the sports hall and we were playing like a 2v2, 1v1, I don't even remember, right? But what mattered is that as it was like the game point, so my little bro had the ball. He had the ball, I was guarding him, and this was the first time that I ever got my ankles broken. We literally were like, okay, an ankle breaker is when you like cross somebody up to a point where the other guy falls. And I'm not even kidding. Even though this guy's like a solid 3 to 4 years younger than me, when he hit that crossover, bro, my ankles like twisted. They twisted completely. I remember falling on the ground, just like nearly dead, right? And everybody's looking, everybody's like, whoa, that's crazy. And of course he scored. What I felt in that moment was, at first, it was just like disbelief. It was like a little bit of shame on me for letting this happen. But as I came back home, all the emotions went down and I started to think about everything. That's when I grabbed my journal and I just started writing down all of my thoughts. This is something that I used to do for a very long time. And that's when I started to observe the fact that, wait a minute, I was the one to teach them how to play basketball. I was the one to, perhaps I didn't teach them everything about it. They studied the game more than I taught them. You know what it is. But it was still on me for teaching them how to do stuff like this, right? I felt somewhat proud of him in a way. And that actually motivated me to express my teaching. I suddenly realized that perhaps I'm not the best teacher, but I'm really good at expressing my mind so that others can understand. When I speak, I am in a perfect flow state. Of course, there are situations sometimes in which, sometimes I might get a little bit stressed at something, whatever. Sometimes I might get a little bit embarrassed. I'm a human just like you. But when I'm in the midst of working, like I am right now, my mind is perfectly focused. And if I didn't take the time to rethink my past, I would have never been where I am today. You gotta reflect. You gotta reflect on what kind of person you are since birth. And perhaps trying to find connections, right? I really like to look at it as connections, because if I were to go back to the starting point, I could literally connect the dots as to how I ended up making videos on YouTube. I could literally connect the dots, right? When I was younger, I used to be really into skateboarding, but then I stopped skateboarding because I kind of got sick of it. Then I started to play basketball. Shit, I need to let my cat out of the room. I gave up skateboarding. Then I actually started playing basketball. Basketball was like this big thing for me, you know. Then I started to teach others how to play basketball and how to get better. That's also how I found YouTube. And from YouTube, it's where we are right now. I could go way back as to how I found skateboarding and how I was into so many things, but that's irrelevant. That's on you to do that. But overall, just reflecting on your past and just making these connections, honestly, it opened up my mind. Like, it opened up my mind to a point in which, besides the few friends that I have who are on self-improvement, even though I am a very social guy, right? I don't think I have enough friends who I can talk about this in real life, honestly. I have a lot of friends on self-improvement. Those are the only few people who I can like express my mind the same way I do on camera, the same way I do on YouTube. Because when you talk to the average person, it's like, not trying to judge, of course, but back to the topic. Let's talk about purpose. The way you find purpose, honestly, you should try new things. If you can't find anything in the past, maybe your link isn't complete yet. Perhaps you should look from one thing to another. Maybe you'll be into that thing, but who knows? Perhaps that thing could lead to you finding another thing, which could be your purpose. I really like to think that purpose changes over time. It's nice to think that it's a lifetime thing, but it's not really a lifetime thing. Even when you think of guys who are known for their passion, so like a Michael Jordan, like a Serena Williams, like anybody, you think of their period of peak, right? When you think of Michael Jordan, you think of back when he was a basketball player. Is Michael Jordan still in the NBA? No, he runs the Charlotte Hornets. Oh wait, I think he sold them. That's irrelevant, but you get the point. Your purpose is like an onion in which you need to find your current layer first. Then as you start to pursue it, it unravels itself. Then you find another layer and another and another and another. Life's a never-ending journey. Well, life is ending, but you get the point. Kind of feel like I'm yapping at this point, so I really don't want to waste your time. If you found value in this one and you want to talk to me directly, well, I was hanging around a community that genuinely understands your struggles. I can assure you that my Discord server will be the perfect place for that, you know? Not only will you get multiple opportunities to talk to me, we also have our weekly calls, right? So, multiple opportunities to grow. That's on you, right? Yep. You can click all the other videos if you want to. You can subscribe as well. My cat's not in the room, but I don't think you'll be upset by that. I'll see you in the next one, brother. Take care.